Hello, welcome to the wonderful world of color. Now what this video is all about today, we're going to explore the world of color. Now understand a couple things about color. There's a lot of manufacturers in the coloring industry. But what we're going to learn on this video today is we're going to learn color theory knowledge, which will enable you to use whatever color line that you are using in your salon. In this video right here, we're going to explore a lot of things about color. We're going to explore things when it comes to volumes of developers, what volumes to use. We're going to explore a lot of things when it comes to lifting, depositing, and all of that, because we want to make sure that you got a thorough understanding of color so that you're able to create all of today's newest and hottest coloring looks and techniques. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into our color theory. Now, there's some important things that you must understand about color. There's three different types of color that we're primarily using in our salons a lot now. The first one that we're using a lot of semi-permanent colors. Yes, we understand that, and you know that. Semi-permanent colors. Semi-permanent colors are those, for the most part, on the American side, that does not require that you use any type of developing agent or oxidizing agent. Okay, that's a semi-permanent color on the American side. Now, there's two different types or two different sides of color. You've got your European side, technically, or you have your American side, technically. All right. So now a lot of times, but color is a universal system and a universal language, okay, that you understand. So now we were talking about your semi-permanent colors. For the most part, American semi-permanent colors does not require any type of developing agents. It doesn't require any type of oxidizers, or catalyst is the word that we want to use. That is catalyst. Okay. Now let's think about what is a semi-permanent color on the American line. Now, just because we have here these colors here, it doesn't necessarily mean that these colors are the only semi-permanent. These are just some popular ones on the American side. This one right here is Jazzing. You know about Jazzing, it's by Clairol. And then you've got all type of other colors. You've got cellophanes. You've got Fermici colors. You've got all types of color, Avedas. You've got all type of semi-permanent colors. It doesn't require any mixing. Along with this, on the Jazzing, we have the Beautiful collection, which is Clairol. We all know about Clairol. We've been using Clairol for years. A lot of us still use it. And we will always use it, along with Rue, along with your other colors, okay? Now, these colors here are primarily semi-permanent lines in that, okay? Then there is newer colors that are on the market today that are very, very popular, like these Adores. You know, colors such as these right here. These are semi-permanent colors. Doesn't require any developing agents or catalysts. This is Adore. They have other ones on the lines that are semi-permanent colors. Now, these are just ones that we just happen to choose today to talk about. Okay, those are semi-permanent colors. Now, there's also colors that will do what we call deposit only. Deposit only simply means when we're using a color that says deposit only, it will only deposit color. That means it will not lighten any way, shape, or form. It will only deposit color into the hair. Now, most of your deposit only colors, which is one of the newer categories, which a lot of people call demi-permanent. Deposit only and demi-permanent. Okay? Demi-permanent, deposit only are the same colors. They simply mean that it is a permanent line of colors that is a deposit only color, demi-permanent. Okay? Now, deposit only colors do not contain any ammonia, or the ammonia content is very, very, very low. Okay. But for the most part, let's say deposit only colors does not contain high amounts of ammonia or any ammonia. Okay. So therefore, you don't get any lifting action. You don't get any drying action on the hair itself. Now, talking about deposit only colors, to understand deposit only colors. A deposit only color is a color that will give you an effect, and you don't have to worry about the ammonia content coming in contact with developers that will either lighten or dry your hair out. Okay, did you understand that? A deposit only color is a color that when mixed with a developer or any other oxidizing agent, it won't dry your hair out. Now, why does colors dry your hair out or cause damage? Quote. The reason is because of the ammonia content. When ammonia is mixed with hydrogen peroxide, it has a chemical reaction that dries your hair out, that gives you a lightening effect. So we're not concerned with a lightening effect or a drying effect when we use deposit only colors, which means demi-permanent. Now I'm going to move right along because we're going to go back to these colors here in just a moment. And then we got our permanent line of colors. Our permanent line of colors in Clairol, we know are bottles that look like this here. And these colors here are colors that will lift and deposit. They will lift and deposit. Now, what does that mean to you? That means if you put your color on a person that has dark brown hair, and when you get finished, she has reddish brown hair, that means that you have lifted the dark brown color out and then deposited the reddish brown color into her hair. So in essence, you are doing a lifting, which is decoloring, and depositing, which is coloring, in one step or one process. Okay. Now, this is Miss Clairol. Again, we're just using this only because we're talking about now, because that's a color we've been using for years. Okay. That's what that is right there. Now, what is another deposit only color? You know, Tanae, you said there's a deposit only color and you haven't shown me one yet. We're looking at the color right here that is popular, that is called Second Nature. Second Nature is a deposit only color. If you see on the bottle it says deposit only or no lift, that means it will only darken the hair. And I used the Clairol line just to give you an idea of some of the colors that they have. On the other hand, we now have colors that are available to us, that are brought to us by other manufacturers that are European based. One of the color lines that we're going to be showing you and using a lot today is our line that's called Solerm. Solerm colors, as you can see in the chart right here, brings to you a variety of colors, just like all manufacturers. This is just the one that we're using today. It brings to you a variety of colors in the reds, into the golds. Matter of fact, I'll hold this up for you. It brings to you a variety of colors in the reds, in the golds, in the browns, in the coppers. So you got a variety of colors here. Not that any other manufacturer does not, because Miss Clairol does as well. But the thing about it is, this is just one that we're using because this is one that we have put our stamp on. We approve it. We like it. We like the results that we're getting. We love the results that and the way it leaves the hair. We love all of that. So these are the colors that we are using and we'll be showing you on today. Now, let's get back to the theory portion before we even talk about any particular color. These are permanent colors. They also have semi-permanent colors. These are your semi-permanent colors. Okay, your semi-permanent colors. That's what we have right here, the semi-permanent. Okay, now their semi-permanent in a lot of ways is also known as a demi-permanent because they will deposit these colors into your hair and they will give you beautiful, vibrant looks. Now, before we go too far into the colors, you know that developers come in different volumes. Correct. You've got developers that will come in volumes from 10, 20, 30, 40. And if you go on, you can get even gallons that come in 130. Okay, now 10, 20, 30, and 40 volume developers. It's important to understand developers. Developers come in cream form. This is Solerm's developer. There's also developers that will come just like, here's another brand of developers. Here we have Salon Care. Just another brand that I'm just showing you and telling you about. Now, Salon Care, you see these are both 40 volumes. This says cream, this says clear. See, so it's important to understand when we say cream versus saying clear. Okay? Cream developers are developers that are less harsh on your hair and they contain conditioning agents inside them that will help to moisturify the hair to stop it from drying out. That's why it's in a cream form. Cream developers, for the most part, are more expensive than your liquid developers. Okay, now what does that mean? That means that a lot of manufacturers will only use a liquid developer because of the pricing or because of the, what it costs for production. Salerm, on the other hand, we have all cream oxidants. What is a cream oxidant? A cream oxidant or an oxidant simply means it is an oxidizer or a developer, but it just says cream oxidant. Okay, now theirs all come in a cream form. You got 10, 20, 30, and 40 volume oxidants. This is their developer. The word oxidant means it is an oxidizer. An oxidizer simply means that it releases oxygen, and that's what developers do. Hydrogen peroxide does. It's an oxidant that releases oxygen. That's what this is. So when you see the word oxidant, simply means oxidizer, which simply means a developer that you use with your colors. Okay. Now, saying that, we also have different types of bleaches on the market today. We've got powder bleaches. This is Salerm's powder bleach. This is a bleach that is in a powder form. And then we also have oil lighteners on the market today. This just happens to be one that we're showing you today. And then this manufacturer is called Wellite. It's by Wella, which is another coloring manufacturer. See, there's all different types of color manufacturers, and we purposely brought different types to understand, to get you to understand that even though there's many, many different manufacturers, they can all be grouped in certain groups. All of your liquid or all of your oil lighteners are grouped with oil lighteners. All of your powder bleaches are grouped with powder bleaches. It doesn't matter, so that you will understand that. It's just that some you may like better or more than others. We prefer Salerm because Salerm has worked. Salerm is proven. It's working on black hair. It's working on Caucasian hair, on Hispanic hair. And one thing about it is leaving the hair very, very healthy. So these are oil lighteners. Now, what we want to do now, we've covered types of colors. We've got semi-permanent. We've got demi-permanent, deposit only. We have colors that are what they call an aniline derivative, which means that it lifts and deposits. Okay? It lifts and deposits. All right? And then, of course, you got temporary colors and colors like that. All right. Now, let's get right into our color theory. So what we want to do now is we want to go over to the board here, and so that you will understand where we are with our color theory. The first thing that you must understand when you're doing colors is the level system. The level system. The level system goes from 1 to 10. That's the level system, 1 to 10. Okay? So the level system 1 is the black. That's your black colors. That means that's your darkest colors. That's where you're starting with. 10 simply means that is the lightest blonde colors that a manufacturer will have. So that's the lightest. That's the lightest blonde that a manufacturer has. That's lightest blonde. 1 is black, 10 is the lightest blonde. Now, everybody that sits in your chair, everybody that you see should be grouped into one of these levels before that you can start any color. If you got a person that is very, very dark, then she's a level 1. If she's dark brown, she's a level 2. If she is lightest brown, she is a level 5. She's the lightest brown, she's a level 5. Then level 6, dark blonde colors. Level 8 on up, very light blonde. 9 and 10. Okay? So now, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? That tells me that everybody that sits in your chair needs to be classified into a level. To give you an example, there's a couple of mannequins that I have right here, and I'm going to grab one of these mannequins right here. Let me grab one of these mannequins right here. And as you look at this mannequin right here, And if you could hand me the other mannequin that's right over there on the table right there, and I'm going to show you the mannequin there. All right, thank you very much. Now, you look at these two mannequins. Let's say these two ladies just walked into your salon. They're sitting in your chair and they say, I want hair color. The first thing you got to do is know your level system. So make sure that on this tape and from this class, this is a class where you're taking us home with you, that you understand the level systems: black, dark brown, medium brown, lightest brown, and all of that. Not talking tones. Level means the amount of lightness or darkness. Now, here we've got two ladies sitting in your chair. This lady would be classified as what level? Is she black? No. Is she level 1? No. Is she the lightest blonde there is? No. So what level is she? Is she a light brown? Is she a lightest brown? She would be classified, this lady right here, would be classified as a light reddish brown. You see, she's a light reddish brown. What level is light brown? Light brown is a level 4, or the lightest brown is a level 5. So she is between a level 4 and 5, and she's closer to a level 5. So she is a lightest, or the light brown with red tones, or tones coming from her hair, red tones. Okay? On the other hand, we've got another lady here sitting in the chair right here. She says she wants color. What level is she? And as you looked at the other one, you can look at this one now and say, well, then is she black? No, she isn't. Is she dark brown? No. Is she a medium brown? She would be in between a medium brown and a dark brown. So she's close to a level 2, possibly a level 3, but more of a level 2, or maybe a level 3, depending on which level you desire. Which level you see, okay, and what you interpret as your levels. So now, if she is a level 3, that means she is a medium brown. If she's a level 2, she's a dark brown. Well, she definitely is not black, as you can see in there. So we want to come in here and put her as a medium brown into this category, which is a level 3 color. Now you're understanding what we mean when we say everybody has to be grouped into a level. If I had a lady that came in and had very light blonde hair, she would be in one of these levels up here. Now, the tone that you see coming from each mannequin is going to be either red, gold, violet. It's going to be orange, copper. Those are the tonal qualities, okay, the base colors. But you got your levels, which is very important for you to understand, and your tones. Okay, so now you understand the level system. The level system, again, goes from what? It goes from 1, which is black, 10, which is the lightest, what? Blonde that there is. Okay, ultralight blonde. Now, each one of these levels, if you'll notice on here, you don't see the word gold. You don't see the word red. You don't see the word blue or orange. Those are all tones, the tone that you see of the color. Okay, but what you do see is the natural levels of the color itself. That's why she was a number 5, a lightest brown with red tones. Okay, with red tones. She could have been a lightest brown with gold tones, but she's a lightest brown with red tones. Now we understand that. Now, tones, we know that tones is the colors that you see. You know, when you're dealing with color and your color wheel, you've got primary colors. And not only do you have primary colors, you got secondary and tertiary colors. But let's just deal with the first two, the primary colors. The primary colors we have, and just put it up here, yellow, red, and blue. These are your primary colors, okay? Whether you say blue, red, and yellow, whether you say red, yellow, and blue, say it any way you want it. There's 3 primary colors, okay? Now, when you mix your 3 primary colors together, that's when you get your secondary colors, which are the most important ones. Now, let's go. Now, I shouldn't say the most important, but ones for us to really understand. For example, equal parts of red and yellow. Do you know what color that will give you? That gives you orange. That's orange color. Equal parts of red and blue, that gives you what? That gives you violet. And then equal parts of yellow and blue, that gives you what? Everybody knows, green. Now you've got your primary colors. These are your primaries. These are your secondary. These are all secondary colors when you mix your primaries together. And we could go on and give you the third one when you mix a primary and a secondary. But let's for right now talk about these here. Of course, you know right here you would have yellow, orange, right? The third one would be yellow, orange. This one right here would be what? This would be red, orange, the primary first. This would be red, orange. These two would be what? This would be red, violet. Sorry, that would be red, violet. This right here would be what? Blue, which is your primary, so you're talking about blue, violet. And these two here would be blue, green. And these two here would be yellow, green. Just to show you the mixing of them, okay? But now what I want to do is for you to understand, I said that that young lady was a number 5. You remember her? She was a lightest brown. That was their level. Level means the amount of lightness or darkness with a red tone. That's where you get your tones from. Tone is the base. Now you understand levels and the tone. Levels, the amount of lightness or darkness. Tone, the color that you actually see coming from the hair. Okay? That's the base, the tone. Actually, what you actually see coming from the hair. Now that we've got that up there, we want to keep it plain and simple for you. Okay? Because I don't want you to get confused. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go in here, we're going to erase this to keep it plain, neat, and simple. I want to erase this again. Now you understand these are the third one when you mix those two together. I want to erase that. I want to keep it plain and simple so you can understand and make sure you got a good understanding, thorough understanding of the colors. Primaries and secondary colors. Primaries and secondary colors. Now I got my primaries and I know what my secondary colors are. Now, let's talk about levels again very quickly. In between each level, for example, in between black and dark brown and medium brown and light brown, in between each one of these levels, if you were bleaching a head of hair out, you've got to go 4 shades, 4 steps to get to the next level. 4 steps to get to the next level. So, for all practical purposes, 4 shades, it takes you 4 shades to get from one level to the next, from this level to the next, from this level to the next. So, what does that mean? That means that if I am starting with a level 3, which is medium brown, and if I want to take this medium brown color and get her up to a light brown color, there is 4 shades there. And that's another 4 shades. That takes this medium brown to a lightest brown. That is 8 shades. That means you have to lift it 8 shades. That's how much lifting action must be in a color to get it there. Again, that means if I want to go from lightest brown, if this is where I'm started, and I want to take her up to light blonde, right? That means from lightest brown, there's 4 shades. There's 8 shades. There is 12 shades. So I got to have a color that will lift me 12 shades. So now you're understanding the lifting formula from getting from one step to the other. There is a formula. That means you need to find out first the level. You need to find out the tone. And then you need to find out how many shades you want to lift your client to get to the next level. That's color theory. Color theory. 4 shades. Okay? Now, let's talk about the developers. Because as soon as we get through with our color theory, then the next thing we're going to do is go into our application with our models. Now, let's talk about developers. Anytime, developers now, anytime you want to deposit color, always go with a developer of 10 volume or lower for depositing colors. There's no need to go in with high volumes of developer for depositing color. because you don't want any lifting action, so you don't need the high volume. Anytime you are trying to deposit color and it's extremely resistant and it's gray, then you may need 15 volume developer. But other than that, you can go with a 10 volume developer or lower. So what does that mean? If I am doing relaxed hair and I am depositing color, I can go with 10 volume or less for depositing color. For depositing. And yes, you can deposit color and go with the 10 volume or less on relaxed hair and it still be healthy, even right after a relaxer. Okay, you just have to know how you're doing, what you're doing, and be able to formulate your color and your developers. Now, anytime you are lifting, that means going lighter, you have to use 20 volume or higher, preferably 20 volume to a 30 volume. I do not like to use more than 30 volume developers on relaxed hair if I'm dealing with colors that has any type of ammonia content. If I'm dealing with a color that has very little ammonia content, such as these here, or no ammonia content or very little ammonia content, such as European colors, I can use a 40 volume developer, a cream developer, and still be safe because it is a cream oxidant. That means it is a conditioned developer. Okay? Now, this particular developer has conditioning agents in it, so I don't have to worry about damaging or coming out with dryness in my hair. Okay? So if I'm lifting, I can go 20, 30, if I have to, in some cases, even 40. Or if I'm depositing, I can go to 10 or lower. All right? This is with our permanent line that gives me all of these here. Permanent line. Along with our cream oxidants, we have our colors for Solerm that will come in this tube. And these are colors that will come in the tube. These are cream colors that come in the tube. Cream colors. Conditioning colors in a tube. It's not like having a bottle of color that comes in a bottle that is in a liquid form. Your cream colors, your cream conditioners, your cream developers versus your liquid anything always contain a little bit more conditioning agents than your liquids. So now that you understand that, you understand why it's important to have something that you can work with that's in a cream form. Okay, so we went over the level system. We went over the primary colors and the secondary colors and our shades. We went over our colors here. Remember, it's important to be able to identify which level you are and then know. The next thing you need to know is what the tone is. First step, know your levels. Then know your tone. Then find out where you're trying to go. If you're trying to go to a higher level, find out how many shades there is from where you're trying to go, from where you started to where you're trying to go and end up. How many shades? Remember, there's 4 shades in between each one. This is your formula. After you find out where you're trying to go, how many shades you need to lift, then find the tone that you're trying to go to. Okay? If you know the tone you're trying to go to, you know the shades you need to lift, you know the levels you need to go to, then coloring is a cinch. So now we're going to move right into our application. Okay, now we're getting into our technical portion. And in our model here today, we're going to do a technique that is called striping. You see a lot of the looks today, the European looks, and you see a lot of striping. And striping is the looks that's very popular right now. And it's very easy and very simple to understand. Now we're using, again, the Solerm color. We chose to go in with her with this 7-4. Now this 7-4 is a nice coppery color, and copper is very pretty and it's in right now. And so we're going to do a coppering technique, but it's called striping, and that's what you see a lot of. What is striping? What makes striping so popular is that you're seeing a lot of striping that is done, and it gives you an illusion of already having roots, so you don't have to do it as often, and that's what you're seeing in today's coloring looks. Now, Solerm's color 7.4, it's true to form, so that's what we're looking for. The technique, we've got a section in the top, that's 1. We got a section on the side above the crest area, that's 2. We got a section in the back, again, a section above the crest area, that's section number 3. You see the line comes right around the crest area, just like this right here. around the crest area. There's your third section. You got a fourth section right next to that one. As you can see, it comes around right there. Section number 4. And then section number 5 is the next section and the last section, which is on the opposite side. And again, is right above the crest area. Okay, so all of it is done interior striping. Not worried about the perimeter, everything below the crest. And it's very simple. The whole key to doing this was and is the sectioning technique, as you can see as you zoom in on the head. And what we're doing is we're just going in, then you're going to come in within each section, and you're just going to take a 1-inch square. Just take a 1-inch square. It's at the top of that section, a 1-inch square at the top of the section right there. Remember, this is my section, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to put my color and my foil, starting it out approximately 1.5 inches or 2 inches away from the scalp down to the ends. You see, it's away from the scalp and down to the ends. Now, in order for us to eliminate having a solid line right there, we then take a little bit of the color, just slightly, small amounts of the color, and we'll come in and we'll just lightly come in through there, so it gives an illusion of coming and already growing out. You see, this is my line, but you see right above the line, right here, we went in and we painted just a little bit on the outer layers of the hair. Just a little bit on the outer layers of the hair. All we got to do is just fold this over. And again, this is our striping technique. Now, again, we're using the Salerm, the 7.4. And I told you that that color is a true to form color. And we're trying to get a nice coppery feel out of dark hair. Coming in again with another 1-inch square. Here's my square. Just right there. We will come in, we will foil right here, out about a couple of inches, 1.5 inches, 2 inches away from the scalp area. Painting it down. And remember, what was the key? The key was when you get to the top of the foil, in order to eliminate that block or that line of demarcation, you got to go in and you put just a few tabs of color on the outer portion of the hair shaft. And that is so that you will not have a specific line of demarcation. And again, the next section, I've got 1, 2. We'll do one more in this section right here. Over here to the side. I'll section off and I'll show you. Get me a nice square, approximately a 1-inch square. There it is. Come in. Again, laying it approximately 1 inch or so away from the scalp. Anywhere from 1 to 2 inches away from the scalp. Painting it on. All the way to the ends. Coming back right above the foil. And creating a line to eliminate the line of demarcation. Fold up out of the way. Now I got 3 foils in that section. My next section is right next to it. I will create out of this section right here. Remember, above the crest area, I will create again 3 sections right above the crest area. Out of this same square right here, getting me a section right here. There's one. And what I'm going to foil, so that I can show you in the section, I'll section it out. This is my section. I will stripe that one. I will go right below it in the center. Right below it in the center. I'm going to stripe that section. And then right above it on the opposite side, which is at the same length of the other one. That's what I'm striping. So out of this section, so that you can see all 3 lines that we are striping, there is the top 2 and 1 in the center slightly below it. You got a square and you're striping 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'll stripe them. And I will continue to do that section right there. Striping it. Laying it out. Laying it out. And as he zooms in, or as the camera zooms in, you can see, I just wanted to move this foil up so you can see my line that I'm creating right there. That's the line that I'm creating right there. And as I'm creating this line, to eliminate that line of demarcation, again, you come slightly above it. You see? Just slightly above it. And put some color right slightly above the line and just dab it on to get rid of the line of demarcation. To get rid of that line of demarcation. The line of demarcation. I want to get rid of the line of demarcation. That's the first one. Find my other section. Where was it? There it was right there. Okay. There I go here. Number 2. Right over here. Coming down. Coming down. Paint it on, paint it on, paint it on, paint it on, paint it on. And remember, this is a striping effect that we are doing. And then we come right above it just to eliminate that line of demarcation. And remember, this is the European technique called striping. Very popular technique right now, very popular looks. And that's what you see in a lot of magazines when you're seeing those striping. It almost look like tiger stripes. Almost gives you an illusion of being tiger striped. And that's what we are creating right now. Again, what my assistant and I have done, we have mixed up the 7.4, which is a 7-level color. The 4 constituted being copper. Get a nice coppery feel on it. Painted it on extremely thoroughly and extremely heavy. You want to make sure that you got enough color on the hair so as the hair absorbs it, it will still lighten, because remember, the hair is porous and it will absorb it. There is my stripe there, and I will come right above it just to blend in some lines in again. And that is our striping technique, and I will move to my top section, finish the top section, and then I have her completely striped. Okay, now as you can see, this is my last section. Eliminate the line of demarcation, last section. And then what we're going to do, so that she will process, remember, we're using the 7-level color with a copper base, which means copper is red-orange. You remember our theory, red-orange gives you copper. Okay? Now, we've just finished our application. Now, to process her, we can let her sit, or we can place her under the dryer. What is the key about that? The key is heat speeds up processing time. Okay, so if we place her under the dryer, it's very important to understand that any color, not just this color, any color you place under the dryer, processing time is sped up by placing them under the dryer, because the heat opens up and expands the cuticle and opens it up, make it penetrate deeper, process faster, and the oxygen release. So we're going to place her under the dryer, and then we'll bring her right back so that you can see. And as you remember, our sections, we have painted it away from the roots, and then we came back to here and made the little blotches so that it's not a definite line of demarcation. Okay, so we'll take her to the dryer and we'll process her, and we'll get started on our next model. All right, on our client here, remember we said it's important to determine the level that you start at, the level and the tone that you're starting at. Now we're looking at her level, and we see that she is about a level 2 going into a level 3. She's not extremely dark, but as you see from her roots, it's in between a 2 and a 3. Now, one thing about Salerm colors, remember the Salerm color is a color that is true to form, which simply means if we are using a color and if we want to achieve a 6-level color, it's true to form, and if you put a 6-level color on a hair or on a head, that means that it's going to come up to be a 6-level color or very close within a few shades or so. So therefore, that's why one of the reasons why we like this color, we endorse this color, because it's a color that is true to form. So now we want to go with copper highlights. Copper highlights. So I choose one of my copper line of colors or my copper families. Now I want to go in between a 6, 7 level copper color and through here. So we chose to use 7.4 in the copper level. 7.4 with a little bit of 8.4. Now these colors are cream colors. The mixture is the same amount, which means equal amounts of color to equal amounts of developer. So in a tube of color, as I get the tube of color, in one of these tubes of color, this tube of color is a 2.1 ounce container of color. I'm going to show it to you. Oops. I will show it to you. This tube says it's 2.1 ounces of color. 60 milliliters of color. 2.1 ounces. So that means if I'm using a 2.1 ounce tube of color, then I must use 2.1 ounces of developer, equal parts. That's why it's important to understand that. Another thing about the color is it's marked on the bottle or on the tube, your halfway mark, 3/4 mark, and a full tube. So you can easily measure how much you're using. Alright, so we're using 7.4 out of the tube. We have already squeezed it up, and we're using a 30 volume developer. 30 volume developer with our 7.4 of 1 ounce and our 8.4 of 1 ounce. Color is already mixed. Now we're going to go in because we're trying to get a lightened area in this area here and do zone coloring and gradually fade it back down to the natural color, because she's going to come in here and do a very short cut. So we want it to be light here, and then the part that we're going to always keep short and tapered out, want to fade it back out, which is called zone coloring. Zone coloring, from light to medium back to nothing or to dark. That's zone coloring. So the first place we're going to apply it is in the part that we want to be the lightest, and that's in through our top area. We parted it off, and as you can see, the color is in a nice creamy form. Nice creamy consistency. All right. Applying it from roots to the ends, and as you will notice in her hair, she already had color in the ends of her hair, and they were already in the copper family, and that's another reason why we chose to go in with the copper line of or family of color. One thing about the cream colors are very, very mild, and the clients always experiences very, very little irritation from the cream-based colors. Experience very, very little or minimum irritation from the colors. Okay, we're going on, we're applying it, and you can see the color is already oxidizing. That means that you see the color itself, or the base that's in the color, starting to oxidize. Very mild. And another thing that you'll notice when you're using this particular line of colors is that you don't smell heavy ammoniated odors coming from the color. You don't smell a lot of heavy ammonia coming from the color. Now keep in mind, we are now applying this to lighten, and we're doing a zone technique, and we've got our other model, our first model that we did our tiger striping on. our tiger striping on that we will be bringing back and checking her very, very shortly, because remember, we have her processing, and she's been processing now for approximately 8 minutes. Almost 8 minutes. So we're bringing her back in just a moment so we can check her and look at where she's at while we're processing here. And you will notice that what we're doing is we are applying it throughout the top or the crown area, which is our interior, first. After the interior starts to coming up, we will then go back and start applying it to the crest area, because we want that to be darker, somewhat darker than this right here, and fade it out to the perimeter. And as I say, color theory is very important. It's important that you understand the levels and the tones. Levels and tones. Levels, what is levels again? That's right. Levels is the amount of lightness or darkness. And then your tones, the tones are the colors that you actually see in the hair, whether it's gold, whether it's red, whether it's green. We don't want to see a lot of that. But in today's colors, some of it you do. Sometimes you do. It might be orange. Those are the tones. Levels of developer. What are we using on her? We want maximum lightning action. So we're using 30 volume developer. But keep in mind, their developer, our developer here at Salerm, is a very, very conditioned oxidant. Remember, the oxidant is the developer. It's conditioned oxidant, which means it contains conditioners and it is much milder than the normal oxidants or developers, or, as you know, hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is the name that we were taught years ago, but we have now went to another level, another dimension, and we're calling them oxidants, so that you will know what that is, oxidant, or a developer. So just keep in mind, because I don't want to get you confused when I'm talking about oxidants and developers. So I'm just doing this, about to finish my application here and through here, because this is where we're primarily focused. And we're going to, at this time, we're going to ask our other model if she would come from the back and just have a seat in our chair here so we can check her very briefly. Our other model can just come on up and have a seat in the chair. Just come right here and have a seat right there. So excuse her as she goes across. Excuse her as you might see her go across the screen, because we want her to come up and have a seat there. Because remember, this is an instructional video. This is a class. This is not a video for show. This is a video to teach you with. So we're here to teach you. We're here for you to learn. Now you can see I'm finished my application in through the crown region. In through the crown region. Now, once I finish my application in through my crown region, as it begins to work, what am I doing? I'm opening up the hair. What are we doing when we're opening up the hair? We're allowing the exchange of oxygen molecules to take place. Color works based upon the exchange of oxygen. That's why you have an oxidant or a developer. That's what hydrogen peroxide does. Causes a change of oxygen molecules. So it's important that the air gets in so it can escape and go through the exchange process. And remember, this is a true to form. Now, we just finished our application, and it took us approximately, maybe 5 minutes in our whole initial application. So we'll let her process over here, and we're going to ask her to change seats with our other model. Now we want to check our foils to see where we are. Remember what we're looking for. Are we processing? It's now been about 15 minutes. Now, how can we tell if we have processed? You have to take and wipe color off in order to see color. You can't tell color results simply, may I have a towel, sir? You can't tell color simply, thank you. You can't tell color simply by looking at the color itself. You have to remove the color in order to really see what color the hair has become, because you can't see with the color already in there because the hair will always be darker. As you can see, I'm going to show you something right here. It's going to fool you too. Before I show you what's up under my towel here, if you take this here and the camera comes in on it, remember I said you must wipe color off in order to see the true color. If you take this here, open it up, and you look at it like this here, you say to yourself, well, it doesn't look like it has changed colors much. That's what you say. Doesn't look like it's doing anything because you can't really see because the color is oxidizing. Remember, the hair is up underneath it. So now, let's see what color we really have when we wipe it off. Do we see anything, or did we see? Maybe we didn't. We don't know. But let's see. Oh, yes, we are changing. Now you can see that you are changing in your color. You see that there? You see the difference in this right here versus what you have there. So you see you are changing when you thought that you weren't changing. So what we're going to do now, we're going to come back with our color. We're going to put a little bit more back on here and process her for about another 5 minutes under the dryer, which will give her a total processing time. No, the color in the bowl, please, sir. Which will give us a total processing time of approximately, from this point here, we're about good 15 minutes into our processing. We're a good 15 minutes into our processing. And we'll put it on there for another 5 minutes. Actually, we're about 18 minutes into our processing. Okay, so we'll put it back under, giving us a good 23 minutes or so, 24 minutes in our processing, and then we will take her out. Alrighty, let me go back up under there. And so we're going to process her, and then we'll see exactly what we have and where we are. Now, in the meantime, we just applied our color on our model. She's processing. It hasn't even been quite 10 minutes yet. And what we're going to do at this particular time here, we are going to now mix up our color for our third model. And as our third model comes around, Miss Portia, she'll come around. And then we're going to go ahead and mix up our color for her highlights. Now, she wants highlights within her hair. So we're going to go in with a 9-level color. A 9-level color to do her highlights. We will paint them on. As you can see, foil on her, straight application on our second one, and she has been pulled through a cap. We're going to go in with a 9-level color in this region right here and get the real nice highlights, and we're going to go in with, this time, not just a copper, but we're going to go in with a reddish copper tone. So we're going to get our color here. I'll be right here. We'll mix up our color. We're going to go in here with the 9-level again, 9-level color. We're going to mix first this 9.4, which is copper. We're going to go in here. We're going to mix up. Remember, the tubes are 2.1 ounces of color. 2.1 ounces. So if we use the whole tube, we've used 2.1 ounces, and we use 2.1 ounces of developer. But we don't need a whole tube, so we're going to use half of the tube, which is approximately 1 ounce. Let me open my top for it. And one thing about these tops too, it allows you to open up the color simply by taking the top, unscrewing it off. You unscrew the top. It has an item in the top that allows you to puncture a hole right in the top, which then in turn allows your color to come out. It's my 9.4. And now what we want to do, we want to add just a small amount of the red. I just want to make this formulate her to make her give me some multicolors. And this is a 8.46, which will give me some red as you look at our chart. But before we do that, we want to go in first our area with just our straight copper and our 9.4. Then we're going to add a little bit of red to it to put little red hints into the color itself. So now she's getting highlights. She has relaxed hair. I don't want to go in with the 40 volume because I really don't like using 40 volumes on relaxed hair. But our 30 volume will give me exactly what I want. And then remember, it is already conditioned. So I've got 1.1 ounce in there already. So what I need to mix up now in my 30 volume is again 1.1 ounce of developer. There's 1 ounce, 0.1 of developer. Add it to my color. And once I add it to my color, stir it up, mix it up. And you see it's a nice creamy consistency. It's thick. Don't smell any high ammoniated contents. Now a lot of times you use color and you'll be doing this and the ammonia is so strong it will knock you out. But you see it has very little, if any, ammonia in it. I can't even smell the ammonia contents in the color itself. Which means it will not dry the hair out. Just make sure that you get it mixed up thoroughly, which we do. We will take our tip brush now and we will paint on the color into this area right here. Now remember, just for the sake of processing time or time on this video, we will take our color and we will process her under the dryer so that she will come up a lot faster. Now it's not necessary. It's not necessary. But remember, if you do, you have to watch your color very, very closely. Because if you process it under the dryer, that means it's going to process twice. In a lot of cases, sometimes twice as fast. Now, we have that area right there that has the predominantly single, straight 9.4 color, which is a 9 level color, which simply means that it's almost the lightest copper that we can go to. And remember, we want to add some red to her color. So adding some red to her color. Add just a little bit of red to it. Probably about 1/4 ounce of red. Just add about 1/4 ounce of red out of the tube. I'm going to add about 1/4 ounce of developer, because remember, you got to go with equal parts. Always go with equal parts. Now this is called creative coloring. This is called, that's why you have to know your color theory, because that's creative coloring. Now our other model back there, she is about ready for us to take her color off, rinse her, and then give her a light shampoo. And then we'll bring her back. Now you can see as I add a little red to the color, you see the base automatically changing. You see the base is automatically changing. And remember, on our model, first model, you have to wipe your color off in order for you to see the true color. So always keep that in mind. This is the same, what we're going in there. Only thing that we're doing here is we've added a tad of red. Just a small amount of red, just to give it some flavor. That's all we're doing, is just giving it some flavor. Just added a tad of red to the color, just to give it some flavor. You have to know what you're trying to create. Just apply it. And you can already see the difference in this color as it oxidizes versus the color that's on the top. You can actually see it right there. You see the red traces in it? All right, here we go. You can see the red traces in it as I turn it to the side, because all we're doing is applying it over the cap, but you can actually see the red traces in the color, just to give it just a little bit of flavor. And this is just a conventional pulling it through the cap method, but using the colors to do that. Now you can see Just a little hint of red there versus what you see up there on the top. Again, you see this oxidizing here. When you look over here to the top, you can see a little bit of the red traces that we added to it. Okay? So we'll take her, we'll let her process. Now remember, in order to process it, we can speed up our processing time by simply doing what? Adding her or putting her or placing her up under a dryer. So at this time, we'll let her go and we'll place her up under the dryer. We'll keep close track of our time. And she can go up under the dryer with the plastic cap. And meanwhile, let's bring our color back and see how she is processing. Okay, now, as we can see, you can see her color coming in through here already. You can see it lightening. You can see it right before your very eyes. You can see it already lightening right before your very eyes. And if I could get a couple more towels from over there. You can see it already lightening. And remember I says, in order for you to see the color, you got to do what? You got to wipe it off. And as you wipe it off, as the camera zooms in, right there, you can see it right there. I'll get him in just a minute. As you can see it as the camera comes in right there. Right? As the camera zooms in, you can see it already lightening. You see it taking shape nicely. Now remember, this particular color here has been sitting with no heat. And it's been processing for now approximately 5 minutes for application. Another 7 minutes. We're at 12 minutes, a good 12 minutes into this application right here. And look at what it's doing already. You see, now that's beautiful. You see, that's beautiful. Now just imagine it's going to be lighter when we totally finish. And we are 12 minutes into our application as of this moment. Now we're going to take our color, as we're going to do it very lightly. Going to go around through this particular region right here. Remember, this is zone coloring, and we want to fade this coloring because we're going to cut her hair. Remember, we're going to give her a nice hair shaping, and we want to fade this coloring out as we get down towards the bottom area. As we get down closer to the bottom area, we're going to fade this color out. Where it actually dissipates to no color. Okay. And as you can see, she's doing a beautiful job of lifting in through there. Just about ready. And again, it's important to understand color theory. Now, you might have questions about processing time. Processing time always depends upon porosity. If the hair is extremely porous, hair will process faster. So there's no set processing time I can give you. I can give you an approximate time for processing time. When you're lifting color, you know, color will work up to about 45 minutes and then it stops because it goes through the oxidation process. But remember, if you're dealing with a color that has a heavy ammonia base in it, the longer you leave it on, the more lightening action you get, the drier the hair will become internally because of the ammonia. If you're dealing with a color that does not have an ammonia base, such as our color we're dealing with here, we don't have to worry about the drying time, so we can process her. And again, it will work again up to approximately 45 minutes before it starts to taper off. But one key thing about the Solerum color line, it does not require heat for processing. But as chemists or as cosmetologists, we understand if we use heat, it speeds up processing time. And only for the sake of this video are we using heat to speed up processing times so that we can do faster applications so that the video won't be 3 hours, 4 hours in styling and everything else. So now, and we want to make it very thorough because this is a class just for you. Remember levels, shades, porosity. Okay? Remember the striping technique we did. Her we pulled through a cap. And the last, or the next to the last color we're going to do a red, because everybody loves to see the reds. They want to see, how do I get this red? What do I do on the red? Okay, how do I get this red? And then doing deposit only colors, taking hair black. Anytime you do dark hair or you're coloring it and you're going darker, depositing color, use deposit only colors. We can see she's coming up very nicely. See, she's coming up very nicely as she's in the light. You see the color in through there. Very nice color. And this is without heat, because I did want to process one without heat so you can actually see what the color was doing. You see that? Now the last thing I'm going to do with her color is I'm going to take her color. Remember, I just want this a little lighter, but I don't want anything like this because it's going to be faded out. And we're going to take it and blend it out, fade it out. We're fading it out into, right below it, the nape area or the occipital area. We're just fading it out. We're going to fade it right out in that occipital area. Because remember, we are going to what? Cut her. So we're fading it out right into the occipital area. Just so that there is a blend of the family of colors from one level to the other. And our model that has the color with the cap, she has now been processing under the dryer for approximately, not quite 5 minutes. So we'll give her just a couple of more minutes under the dryer, and then we'll bring her right back. See, we're keeping track of our time so that you will understand processing times along with certain products or manufacturers. Now see, we've got a point where we can blend that down. We don't want it all the way to the bottom, but we want it very close because we're going to cut her very, very short and give her that nice short, tapered, layered cut. Now our first model that we did, she ought to be about ready to come back now, so we can actually see her color. Okay, Bernita, what we can do is we can get you to go have a seat right there. All right, now, see, even before she's dry, you can see in through here the color spots. You see the tigers, you see those pretty colors in through the dark hair. Now that's pretty color. That is gorgeous. That is some nice color. Look at that in through there, right in through there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use a little bit of our foam styling lotion, because it dries pretty quickly, so that we can blow her dry and flat iron her out. And as you can see the color in through there. Very, very vivid color. Very, very vivid color. Very pretty color. Even though it's wet, you can still see the color that's through her hair. And I mean, it's some pretty highlights. Gorgeous. Now, just imagine if you wanted to do it heavy, how many sections did we use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all above the crest line, which means it was all done in the interior of this particular look. And the reason that we did sections like that, so no matter which way she combs, no matter which way she styles, she's going to see some of the striping in all areas of her head. And the areas that she wanted them in most, that we wanted to see, is right in through here, and that's what we're seeing right now. So what we're going to do now, we'll place her under the dryer, allowing her to dry. Then we'll come back, blow her, bevel her out, and she will be completed. So you can see her beautiful color. Now, what we're going to do on our model here, we're going to go into our red series. Our other models are processing. We're going into our red series. Everybody wants to know how to do the reds, how to get the pretty reds. Well, I said our color is true to form. We're going to use 6.6, which is a red color, equal parts, that means 2.1 ounces is in a tube. We're using a complete tube to 2.1 ounces of 20 volume cream oxidant, which is 6%. 6% 20 volume cream oxidant, which is a developer or hydrogen peroxide, however you want to call it. Okay? So we're going to mix that right into this here. Equal parts. I'm going to mix it up good. And as you can see, again, it's in a cream form. As we mix it, as it mixed together with the oxidant and the developer, and here we go, mixing it. As you can see, it already has a nice pretty red base. And it's important that you do a thorough mixture in your application or in your mixing. Make sure it's mixed thoroughly. Now again, this is a cream color, which means it is milder. We don't have to worry about the drying from the developer, from the oxidant, from the ammonia. Because I'm going to tell you something in color. It's not the developer where you get the dryness anyway, because developers are an acid or acidic. Okay, so therefore, if that's the case, then it's got to be the ammonia in your colors. Because we use hydrogen peroxide to gargle with. We use hydrogen peroxide for infections or things like that and put it on cuts. It's the same hydrogen peroxide. That is just maybe 1 or 2%, 1%. So now you see the color. Now, what I'm going to do on our model here, I'm going to take a very, very light base, because I do believe in going around and basing hairlines and things of that nature, especially when I'm doing colors, especially darker colors, because I don't want to be able to have that on the skin and not be able to get it off. So I like to play it safe simply by basing around the hairline. Simply by basing around the hairline with this light New Expression base. Just go right around the hairline. And now I'm ready to go in there and do my application. All right, now I've finished my application on my red. She's worked all the way through to the ends. All right, so now she's going to finish processing. And her processing time is going to be, matter of fact, we're going to take and speed up her processing time just for you with this here. We'll put it under the dryer. Her processing time will probably be about maybe 10 to 15 minutes only. Only because we're speeding up under the dryer. Otherwise, she could sit out for 20 minutes and she's fine. Sit out for 20 minutes and she is fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to send her back, and so she can process in the back, and we'll bring her right back in just a moment. Now, our tiger stripes. Our tiger stripes, wanted to show you where we are with that, show you what we have with it. And as you can see the nice stripes in through there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to finish and continue out, flat ironing this out real quick so that you can actually see the stripes all the way. Just continue to flat iron it out, and as you can see her here, it still looks healthy, it looks shiny along with the stripes. And one of the key things about it that I really, really love is, again, the highlights and the color does not dry her hair out. And one of the things that you're going to notice about the stripes as I turn her around, you're going to notice how you can see the stripes, but yet you'll see them blend all the way down to her roots. And by blending down to her roots, it will not look as if she has what we call a line of demarcation. She won't have a line of demarcation. So while our other model is processing up under the dryer with a cap, we're going to show you this, and then we'll bring our other two models back. And we will show you. We're going to show you what we have left to do. Now, as we comb her down, just so you can see your color, you see your striping in through here as the camera zooms in on it. You see your striping, and you're noticing how you see it striped here. See it striped, and it fades down to the root. See, it's striped, but yet it fades down to the roots. You see, it fades out, and it already gives her an illusion of having roots, but yet you do not see a line of demarcation. It just gradually blends into what you have. And here's a perfect example right there in the front on both sides. You see right here, there's your stripe, and then it fades out right there at the root because of using the color at the roots to make it blend right in. And that's what you get when you do your tiger striping. So what we're going to do with her, we'll take her. What we'll do with her is we'll take her, comb her out, so you can see these beautiful, beautiful stripes and the striping technique that we used on her. And again, what did we use on her? We used to style her with our iron. We just came in and used our flat ironing technique all the way down through to the ends. And now you can see what we have. With our tiger stripes and our tiger striping technique. And I tell you, it's a gorgeous technique. And the key is when you're striping to fade it out at the root area. To fade it out at the root area. Again. All right. Now we're going to move on to our next model. Okay, now we've just brought back our red model, and we call this like a bodacious type of red color. And as you can see, it's plenty of red in here. Now, keep in mind, she's wet. And as a head is wet, that means that you're going to have a deeper tone than when she dries. So as she dries, she will get lighter and lighter and lighter. But you can see beautiful red tones within there. Beautiful red tones within there. Beautiful red tone. And as soon as she dries, you will be able to notice all of the definition and the different deposits of red that are in there. So we're going to mold her. And remember, this head here was done with our red color with straight 20 volume. It's still healthy. It's still very, very soft. It's not dry looking. It doesn't feel dry. It's not hard because of the low ammonia content in the color. There's no ammonia in it to dry it out. So this is excellent, excellent on relaxed hair. And again, this is our red series. So what we're going to do, and we don't have to worry about this red fading, bleeding. When she shampoos it, in 2 weeks it's gone, or it goes and fades a different color. This is a permanent line. So now we will take her, and once we take her, we will take her and we will dry her, and then we will bring her back. And after we bring her back, we will then allow you to come and see her as she is being styled out. And as you can see, it's beautiful, beautiful red color. So that's what we're going to do with our model right here. So we're going to go in there and mold her right now and finish molding her. And then we'll bring her right back and finish her and dry her out. So I'm going to use, again, just a very, very light foam moisturizing styling lotion in her hair. Mold it. And then we'll bring it and style it out. Now keep in mind, this is a permanent red color. This is a 6-level red color that gives us that very, very bright red look. And that's where we are. And all we're going to do is just mold her, and then we'll bring her right back after we style her out so you can actually see the definition and the true amount of red that's in her hair. Again, what is our formulation for color? You have to know the level that you're starting with. Everybody's classified into a level. Then you've got to know your tone. How many levels are there again? There is 10. How many shades between each level? There is 4. Remember the volumes of developer. Whenever you're going in to deposit, you want to go in with a lower volume of developer. 10 or lower. Unless it's resistant hair, which would be gray hair. When we're lifting, we've got to go with 20, 30, on relaxed hair, 20 to 30 on relaxed hair, or 40 volume on hair that has not been relaxed when you're looking for real high lifting action. So it just depends on the hair, the texture, and what type of chemical application is previously done on the hair. And remember, the cream developers are what you want to use. The cream colors are what is giving you the color with conditioning agents already in it. Now we're going to take her, we will dry her, and then we'll bring her right back and show the finished look as we finish her up. Okay, now what you see here, we brought her back. This is our very first model. This is the one we went in and did the copper color in the top. As you can see, beautiful color in there. Beautiful, pretty color in there. Copper highlights in there, as you can see. And then as you can see, remember we said we we're going to zone her out. It gets a little darker right in through this area right here from the top. And then it gradually fades down and out around the bottom. Around the bottom. Gradually fades down and out around the bottom. So all we're going to do now, and as you see, we're going to go in there, just bump it very lightly so you can see the finished look. But one of the things to understand now, keep in mind, this is 7 level, 7.4, which is a copper color, and you can see all of the copper highlights. It's almost as if it's, when you see it in different angles from the light, it's almost as if it's a brand new copper penny. And you know the brand new pennies are not copper, they're kind of an orangish copper. And I'll tell you, and this is really gorgeous color. So what we're doing now is we're just going to finish this out, bumping this a little bit. Now this look here, just bumping it out, and this look here, she can wear it flat, she can wear it flipped up, she can wear the Holly Berry type flip. You know, we previously cut her, and in previously cutting her, we came in, tapered her out, using our C-iron just to bevel it out, just so that she can have some lift to it and some volume, so it's just not completely just straight. And that's all we are doing now. And there is a technique that you can use with your irons that is called a drag curl, or is called a slide curl, that you can use with these irons that we're doing a lot of. And one of our next promotions and videos will get into that type of curling techniques, drag curling and slide curling techniques. And as you can see, we're just going in here, and I tell you, this color is really gorgeous. It's a 7-level copper based color. And when I say that their colors are true to form, when you see this color and look at it and look what we started with, I tell you that color is really true to form. It's true to form. And if I could really get her in there under lights, remember she had dark color to begin with. She had dark color to begin with, and these are the highlights that we went after right here. And I know it's hard to see them on this back, but this color and these highlights in there are identical in their colors. It may be hard to see them on the screen, but they're identical in color. And that's what I say, a color that is true to form. It's true to form. And that is one thing about this color that we can appreciate the most. When a color line comes out and the manufacturer comes out with a line and the color is true to form. Again, this was done with just 30 volume developer. This was done with 30 volume Occidente, which is an oxidizer, but yet her hair is extremely soft. It is not dry, extremely healthy, because the color does not contain ammonia, high levels of ammonia, because remember we couldn't even smell the ammonia. And secondly, the cream oxidant, it is a conditioning developer, and that's very important, that it is a conditioning developer. So this is what we have to work with. This is what we're dealing with nowadays, dealing with people with relaxed hair or textured hair that want color, and we're coming out nowadays with color just for them. So we'll finish her off, and then we'll bring her back and we'll show you the entire look at the end. But this is gorgeous color work. Okay, now you see we've just brought her back and we're here now, and we are finished with this look. As you can see, the beautiful color in it as the camera comes in. You can see the beautiful highlights on it as she holds it down as the light hits it. Beautiful highlights. Nice color, radiant color, vibrant color. And as you can see, and it's nice and healthy. And that is our finished color from our 7-level series. So it's now you understand what we did there. Beautiful color. All right, so now here we are with our finished model, our second model here. Actually, she's our third model. And as you can see the pretty highlights in there. And again, this is the reddish copper series. It's red copper. And then you can see the highlights all the way through here. And as you look in through there, you can see the pretty highlights. There we go. There you go. And see, one thing about it is pretty highlights without doing any drying of the hair, without drying the hair out, period. Okay, and that's what we see. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to go in here and just style this out for her because we wanted to show you the highlights, wanted to make sure that you saw the highlights. And you've seen the highlights, so now we're going to go in and just style it out for her and just give her a little bit of volume, a little bit of height in there. And one of the good things about it is that in the midst of all of this color that's going on, she still has very nice, healthy, and soft hair. And one of the things too is that the color never irritated her. You know, and she has had color in the past and it has irritated her, but she never complained of any irritation from the color. And that's one thing I like about it. Even in the highest level or the highest series of colors, we never have to worry about the irritation factor. And that's the one thing, that the constant that is good about this color line. So I'm just going to go in here and we're going to start curling her out. And then we'll come back at a later time and we'll show you the finished look. But we're going to go ahead and start it. And we're going to again come in here using our C irons and our flat irons. Making sure we get enough heat in it. And a matter of fact, I think what I'll do is I'll start out with the larger flat iron in the top area. Okay, again, we used our color 7 series. And as you can see, all we're doing is basically bumping this hair back, styling it back. And now we're getting down to our shorter lengths. And then we'll switch over to our C iron from there. Getting ready for that. And as you can see, the color has a real nice gloss to it. Now that tells you something right there. When you see a very nice gloss coming from hair that has been just highly colored or colored and highlighted, and you can still see a nice gloss coming from it, that tells you right there that the color is not a color that's going to dry her hair out and have an extremely high ammonia content to dry it out. That's something that we don't have to worry about in that because it doesn't have that. And as you can see, we're just going in there and we'll bump her out. Again, using the C iron. And that is a key in our styling. And we do have a series of videos that has the ironing techniques, the C ironing techniques, and the flat ironing techniques on it as well. So we're just going to come around to this side and just continue through the short part and portion. As you can see, when I turn her in the chair, you can see a lot of the highlighting through there. Very, very nice highlighting work, as you can see as I turn it and the light hits it. So we'll finish her out now and then we'll show you her finished look. Okay, now as you can see, we're back and this is our red series. As you can see, the nice red highlights up through there. This is not a red that will fade out. This is a 20 volume or a 20 volume developer or Occidente used as a permanent color. It is a permanent color. That means you don't have to worry about the fading, and it doesn't dry out. And this is a red that will last her. As you can see, the beautiful red tones that are in her hair. And these are not the reds that she has to worry about fading. This particular line of reds will last without fading. And you will notice that you will get a longer lasting red color. And it still has a nice high gloss to it with a lot of red highlights. That's our red series. Okay, our model's finished here now, and as you can see, this here is our copper series. You can see the highlights all the way through, even in with their natural texture. Blended in very nicely. And one of the good things about it, even in doing a 7-level color, remember this is 7-level highlights. The red was a 6-level highlights. Even in doing 7-level highlights, her hair is still very nice, healthy, soft, and it is not dry. And this is the 7-level with the copper series, which means it's a 7-level color with the red-orange base. With a red-orange base, a 7-level with a red-orange base. Remember, in coloring, all you have to do, identify the level systems, 1 through 10. 1 being black, 10 being the lightest blonde. Then remember, identify the tones, whether it's red, orange, yellow, blue, your base, whatever your base is. In between each level, you got 4 shades. So you must be using a color that will lift, and you read the bottle of color, it will tell you how many shades it will lift. Or make sure you're using a color such as Salerms that will give you a true to form lifting action. And as we conclude this coloring video, we hope that you have enjoyed it. We hope you have learned from it. And by all means, color, because color means money.